Yo, what is up, everybody? Back again. Y'all already know what
Nail,
it is.
play that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, this man got the background.
You already know, man. Get that money, man. Get that money. Take to the house. Ain't no Easy money. Easy money. Well, it should be easy money, but like
Look,
I
knock
said,
on wood, knock on wood.
Look at the rookies we drafted. We got Dean and we got Davis. Two from Florida. It doesn't get better than that shit.
yeah, put that shit up.
As Ricky Bobby said, if you ain't first,
You're
you're last.
Exactly.
Second place is at 2.
Definitely gonna make up for it.
Trust me. I need a sports podcast, man. I need it. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the I Need It Sports Podcast family. Your host with the most, my dog Cam. Boy Bryce, you already know what it is, man. Time to recap NFL Week 16. Crazy, we headed into Week 17. 2 more weeks of football left. A lot of things have shaped up now. Know a little bit more about the playoffs. The Chargers, hey, they're kind of hot right now. They finally clinched the playoffs for the first time in 3 years. Herbert's first playoff run. I know I don't want to face him in the playoffs. It's looking like they potentially might get a Jacksonville 4 or 5 matchup if Jacksonville is able to hold on to the AFC South title. But yeah, they clinched. Who else clinched? I think well, Green Bay hasn't clinched yet, but everything that needed to happen for them happened. So like Cam said on the last episode, like he just felt, Aaron Rodgers will find a way. Football guys trying to help him find that way. Detroit completely sold. I should have known. I bet Detroit. I should have known they would turn into Detroit. They got absolutely waxed by Carolina. Carolina ran the ball down Detroit's throat nonstop. I think they had like over 200 rush yards in the first half. And scarily enough, they got the Bucks this week, and it's basically for the division in the playoff spot for the NFC South. The Bucks are favored by 3 points. I don't know, man, because the first time Carolina played them, they were able to run all over them, and that's what they've been doing well. People are gonna bet Brady, of course. I done seen a lot of parlays already on Twitter, like, "Oh, take Bucks this with all this other stuff." I'm like, I know it's Brady, so you don't want to bet against him in moments like this, but the Bucks do not look good, and Carolina might have the right level of play right now. I don't know. I'm gonna stay away from that one. But yeah, man, a lot of good stuff to get into. And we're gonna first talk about probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest headline from this weekend, man. Part from that Packers game, but on the opposite team, Miami and Tua, man. I didn't see it. Him hit his head in that end of the second quarter. And I was wondering why he was throwing the ball to Green Bay in the fourth quarter to give them the game. Comes sense. Out, Monday that he has concussion-like symptoms. Today they confirmed he does have a concussion, and they said like he's most likely out of the game. No, he's out of the game. Yeah. And honestly, he's probably done for the season. He should be.
I hope so, man.
He needs to just take it easy and get a full offseason, get some, brain tests done, make sure he's all good upstairs. Because this is kind of scary at this point. This is his second concussion. But I mean, after they named the first one and thought it was it's just a back injury. He comes back versus Cincinnati, gets hurt. He missed 3 weeks after that concussion. So like since this is his second one for the season, at the very least, he should have to miss 3 weeks again to be on the safe side. People are like, well, no, he can sit this week and then he can come back for the week 18 or the playoffs if they make it. It's like, bruh, no, like that's not how this works. If he sat 3 weeks for the first one, he got a second one, he might need to sit out even longer. And if he were to sit out the next month or so, that would put them right at the AFC Championship. And that's if Miami obviously makes the playoffs, let alone makes that game for him to come back. So yeah, it sucks because Miami was looking like a team of promise earlier in the season, and then they did the Miami thing they've been doing the past couple years. They kind of been selling this last month on a 4-game losing streak, and now looks like Tua should more than likely be done for the year, and they probably won't make the playoffs. But at the same time, like I've been telling you, and I think I said on the last episode, I'm almost 85% sure Tom Brady ends up in Miami next year because he wants to be somewhere where there's weapons. There's weapons galore down there now, and they have a pretty good defense. And it's Miami, no state tax. He just has to move across the state from Tampa, and they were already caught for tampering with him, so it's all setting up perfectly for that. But yeah, man, Tua, you think I've been hearing some people say he just need to hang the cleats up for good. What you think about Tua and that whole situation, and if Miami's mishandled it or
Mishandled it? They definitely mishandled it for sure. Um, this is something you got to really like watch and like look at, like, because this is not normal. Yeah, it's 2 concussions, but it's really 3 if you like really want to think about it. Like, it's 3 concussions. They're not gonna say that when we first seen him, he was stumbling and stuff like that. That he was concussed. Everybody in the whole world that was watching that game, we knew he was concussed. But this is something he really needs to, like, him and like just doctors need to look at, if he continues to, play later on, in his career or whatever. He needs to watch out for this, because it's just like it's not normal for like one guy to have like all these, concussions, and like it's happening pretty easily. It's just like, how like someone is kind of like fragile, like safe, like someone like trips and like they break their bone, like, pretty easily than others. I don't want to like diagnose to it or whatever, but it seems like if he like
he
just
even hit
bank
the
his
turf?
yeah, hit the turf, like he gets a concussion. That's really not good at all, considering, you playing football. And so I mean, this is things, he has to think about, later on his career or whatever. Like, this is bigger than football now. Like, even the Miami Dolphins, they gotta like sit there and like think about, like, okay, do we want a quarterback? Not, it's kind of mess up, think about, but like, do we want a quarterback that, potentially can always get concussed or could get hurt or something like that? And so I don't know. It's just something to like really think about. Like I said, this is bigger than football. So I hope he takes his time, coming back. He should definitely be out the rest of the year, because like I said, this is third concussion, and it's scary, man. Like, concussion is nothing to like play about. I believe I seen some, like you said, some people. I think I seen some former NFL players been saying like he needs to hang it up and like start thinking about, life after football. And I mean, that potentially could be the problem solver, but I don't know. We'll see. It's just that's just it's just sad to see, really.
No, it is. And I mean, his career, like his football career in itself, like even at Alabama, towards the end of his career in Alabama, he was getting injured a lot. Of course, came in, or that final season was ended because he messed up his hip to the point he needed surgery. So that was kind of a big if coming into the draft. But then, of course, Miami still took him in the lottery and picked him 1 pick before Herbert. They could have had Herbert. And, you know, for the time being, coming into this year, it was like, well, it looks like the better pick because Miami, he's got a better winning record than Miami. Then you start this year, and he looks way better than what Herbert was looking. But even though Herbert's receivers were injured, now obviously Herbert looks like Herbert. It's like anybody who was saying that kind of you look real stupid now. But yeah, like you said, it's 3 concussions because he got the first one, they misdiagnosed it, then he came back and got it again, and it's like it's not even like he's getting like hit in his head, like you said. It's like kind of some regular tackle, so to speak,
Yeah,
and
real
he
tackles.
might fall a little bit off balance, and he can't hold or brace himself for the ground, and his head kind of just smacks against the turf, and next thing you know, concussion. And like not to, be an asshole or say something wrong, but it's kind of like he got mush brain at this point. Like any contact to the head is kind of like he's probably woozy or something. And now, I mean, I think the most recent that comes to mind, I think it was Luke Kuechly, who was a all-pro linebacker.
Yeah.
Hit people for a living. He got 3 concussions, and he said, "You know what? I gotta hang him up." And he's like, I can't do this. Like, it's literally gonna kill me." And so he retired at age, what was it, like 28?
28, yeah.
Yeah, and that's an all-pro linebacker right there. Tua, I mean, while he's played good this year, he's probably make the Pro Bowl, but he wasn't at a all-pro level, so to speak. But yeah, it's definitely bigger than football now. I hope, like, they do right by him, but at the same time, Tua has to do right by himself at this point.
Yeah.
Because I think for this one, if I'm not mistaken, I was reading an article, it wasn't even Tua that like checked himself in. Mike McDaniels watched the game footage back, and he might have probably seen, got word from that clip on Twitter the dude posted of Tua hitting the ground, and he's saying like he's seen it right there that he might have a concussion and nobody else did. But Mike McDaniels was like, "Hey, I want you to go to the doctor and like, go get checked out because I don't think you're right." So that he goes to the doctor, concussion-like symptoms, it comes out, oh yeah, you got another concussion. I mean, if you got a concussion, Tua, you've been through this before already. He knew he had a concussion, and he probably knew he wasn't right coming off that play and for the rest of the game. Because I think Miami didn't score in the second half. Maybe a field goal, but they didn't score a touchdown for sure. After he was balling out, I think he had like 200 yards and a couple touchdowns in the first half. And let me pull it up just to make sure.
Bro, he was literally throwing to the Packers.
Yeah,
Packers defenders. I'm like, what is he doing?
He had 200 yards and 1 touchdown in the first half. But yeah, Miami didn't score in the second half. He looked terrible in the second half. And then that fourth quarter, 3 possessions in a row, he threw 3 interceptions. It's not like, a tip ball or he got hit. Like, no, he was just like kind of seeing ghosts. And now it comes out he has a concussion. He probably was, because he was literally throwing it right to the defense. The last interception to seal the game. So if he just hits Tyreek on the slant, Tyreek's head might be on the goalpost in 5 seconds. Because there was a lot of space, and defenders aren't going to catch him when he gets his speed up. So, yeah, it's bigger than football. It sucks for Miami because this was looking like the year they can finally, potentially turn things around, make the playoffs. But, yeah, his career in Miami is in jeopardy, and his career in football is in jeopardy. I just want him to sit out, get healthy, do whatever he needs to in the offseason. Shoot, honestly, I think I said it way back on one of our first episodes when we were doing preseason recaps. But them little pad things they've been putting on the players' helmets during training camp now? Honestly, with Tua, the way he is, and if he wants to play, I would not be surprised if either next year or the year after that, the NFL moves as an initiative for some players to have those on during the game, or some new technology that will be created to put that over the helmet. Because it's becoming, head injuries are becoming not too prominent, but like we're learning more and more about them. And the more and more we learn, the more and more we're going to do to try to mitigate that. And Tua is probably going to be a big catalyst for that with this injury. But yeah, man, that happens. They lose 4th game in a row. Flip side, the Packers, who still don't even necessarily look good, but they're finding a way to win. It's like, because it's not even like Aaron Rodgers is like balling out or like putting the team back. He still looks pretty bad himself. They're just finding ways to win, so you can't knock them. But coming into the week, they needed Washington and Seattle to lose at least 1 game. That happened. And them to win out. So they win this weekend. Washington and Seattle both lose. I think now they need Washington to lose 1 more game, and they got the Cowboys, and I forget who else, but Cowboys, it's going to be iffy because they play the Cowboys the last week of the season. I was actually talking to my dad about this because they could definitely lose that game, but at the same time, if the Eagles win this week and sew up first place, Cowboys probably, the smart thing would be to rest their players that last week of the season. So who knows? Washington might get not a freebie game, but an easier game where they're not playing. Like Parsons should sit for sure because he's been looking banged up the last month and a half, and he could definitely use a break heading into playoffs if they really want to make a deep run. But yeah, man, Green Bay looks alive. This week they get Detroit at home. Detroit, while they were looking hot, and then what they did this past weekend, and then Detroit probably gonna be Detroit, and Green Bay will probably win this game and move in and take their spot for. I don't know if that'll put them in the wild card just yet, but they'll be right there in the hunt on the edge, just waiting on someone like Washington to lose. But you think? I mean, you said it last episode, but you're probably more certain now. You think Packers are making the playoffs, huh?
I think so, man. I think everything's gonna go right for them, and they'll just sneak in there and they'll get in. But time will tell. Time will tell. Because I was gonna say, man, the Commanders haven't won since November, which is crazy to like even think about. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I need to see like what all needs to happen for them for the Packers to sneak in, but I think they'll make it.
I think I can pick it back up again because I sent Cam the picture of the Packers playoff scenario. Like sent it to him, laughing like, "Bro, look, so and so lost, so and so." Like this is so yeah. Coming into this weekend, or no, this is the new one. So yeah, they needed Washington to lose 2 out of their last 3 games, Seattle to lose 1 of their last 3, and then win out. Seattle lost the one this week to my Chiefs. So that's done. Washington lost 1, so they need Washington to lose 1 more, win out. That's it in the playoffs as the 7th seed, and that means they will be getting Minnesota. Well, if Minnesota holds on to see, because they also have to do that because they get Minnesota the last game of the season, and that's gonna be a hard game too if they do win this one. And are we gonna count on Kirk Cousins to shut them out? I don't know. I really don't know.
No clue at all.
Yeah, and honestly, there was another scenario too. If the Giants lose out, they would make it in. They get the Colts this week, so I'm thinking the Giants can get that one done because they need to win to hold on to their wild card spot. But yeah, they lost to the Vikings this week. Colts up now, and then Eagles last week of the season, who will probably be resting a lot of their players as well. And the injury bugs found the wrong time to hit the Eagles. Now it's kind of iffy about tough. Them. What was certain they're the best team in the NFC. I don't know after this weekend. I don't know, but we'll talk about that too. But yeah, man, Packers playoff hopes alive and well. Detroit's playoff hopes alive, but after this weekend, not looking too well. But that's the matchup this weekend, man. So we'll see. On the flip side, this was actually the first game of the week, but I want to touch on this a little bit just because of QB situation. Jaguar Jets. Zach Wilson got benched for not even the third string quarterback. I don't know if you could call him the fourth string, really, because Mike White, Joe Flacco, and then what is dude's name again? Chris Trevler. I don't even know who dude is, but he came into the game. New York fans started cheering. At that point, it's like, bruh, they don't even want him here anymore. It's looking real bleak for Zach Wilson, and Robert Saleh still talking about no. I believe there's still a future for him on the New York Jets, and it's like, bro, you cannot bench him 3 times within the same season and just expect everything to be cool. And the whole team doesn't even like him. It seems like because they're excited to play with every other quarterback but him. And a couple weeks ago, when the Jets had lost to the Patriots on that punt return, Robert Saleh was in the press conference talking about, yeah, we'll see them again. I guarantee that. We're going to see them again. And I believe if they lose this weekend, I think they're done. Their playoff hopes are completely shot, especially since they're in the AFC East. And the Patriots beat them twice, so they got that tiebreaker. And then the Dolphins and Bills, of course. But they're supposed to get Mike White back this week, so maybe things will turn up. But at the same time, like, it's okay. Like, teams get draft picks wrong all the time. They clearly got this one wrong, so they need to move off of him and go some other route. And honestly, with the news that came out today, Derek Carr's he's not off the Raiders yet, but they basically said it was mutual that he's not showing up to the team facility anymore for the rest of the season. He's not going to be on the sidelines. He's just going to be a healthy scratch. Oof. And for the Jets, who are kind of in a win now, they just need a game manager quarterback, and they have some talent offensive end. I know we were talking about Jimmy G, but Jimmy G is coming off a broken ankle, so we don't know how he'll be. Derek Carr, 9-year NFL veteran, who some people still believe is a top 12, arguably top 10 quarterback. I think he might be a New York Jet this offseason. And maybe the Raiders trade for Zach Wilson since he's still young. Maybe they still try to get another quarterback as well. But who knows? As y'all know, usually I have something playing in the background where I got bets going on. Watching the Bulls-Bucks game, I think DeRozan and I think it was Grayson Allen just got into it. They about to show the replay. What happened? Grayson Allen, like, he got shoved off the screen, but then he shoved DeRozan acting like he was falling. He didn't have to do that, but DeRozan got him mad.
I know he's ready to fight.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny.
But, yeah, man, I think that's I don't know if the Jets want to do that trade, but I think with the way their team is built and if they're trying to win, like, I think that's the move. You think Derek Carr could be something with the New York Jets? Like, fresh new scenery, get away from the Las Vegas and that terrible franchise. Because I'm not a Derek Carr believer, but I mean, at the same time, the Raiders have just been so bad his whole tenure. I think he could use a new environment. And New York's got a great defense. The one thing he's never had in Oakland/Las Vegas is a great defense.
Great defense, yeah.
So if they could just be the same defense and he can, throw it to Garrett Wilson and, throw it to Moore, they're gonna get Breece Hall back hopefully next year. They got James Robinson too. Like, I think he can make them a playoff contender for real. You think so, or?
I think so too. I would love to see Derek Carr. With the Jets, they got a better O-line, way better O-line than Vegas. They also getting Mekhi Becton back probably next year. I know he got hurt earlier in the year, or whatever. But I got another wild card quarterback for you. What about Lamar Jackson to the Jets? Could that be a possibility? They form some type of trade or give me in the free agency if the Ravens let him walk. But
I'm not mad at that one. I just think it would have to be trade because the Raiders. I'm not the Raiders. The Ravens. They're not gonna let Lamar be a free agent. They'll tag him if nothing else. But I think Lamar's gonna have to force himself out of Baltimore. Like, at this point, things don't look right over there in that whole organization regarding him and his contract talks. But I mean, I wouldn't be mad at that either. That would be a good place. I just don't know what trade New York offers the Ravens or what they're even looking for. Because I don't think the Ravens are going to be like, well, we'll take Zach Wilson for Lamar and maybe some Zach Wilson and some picks. But I don't know.
It'll be a lot of picks.
It may have to be another player too.
Probably another player also.
Because what Zach Wilson is put on tape clearly is not great. And you pair that with Greg Roman, maybe one of the worst offensive coordinators in the league. Yeah, Baltimore will be in shambles. I don't know if they want to make that trade, but it'll have to be a trade for sure. Maybe they don't trade Zach Wilson and they find other pieces to trade for Lamar, but I'm assuming the Ravens would probably try to take a big haul, whoever is offering that trade. But yeah, I think Lamar needs to force his way out. And honestly, I think you were asking me for the podcast when he's coming back. I don't know if he's coming back. Like, I haven't heard any reports saying like he looks better, healthier. Like, honestly, it might be a repeat of last year, and we just don't see Lamar again for the rest of the year. Yeah. Except this time, the Ravens should more than likely, if they haven't already, they should still. Yeah, they clinched the playoffs, so they'll be in the playoffs at the very least. But I don't know. Right now they're holding on to the 5 seed, but they lose one more time, that could easily go to the Chargers, and they got to play Cincinnati one more time. So I don't know. I'm not mad at that trade either. But yeah, I feel like if they can't get a trade for Lamar, it's either gonna be Jimmy G or Derek Carr. But low key, Derek Carr kind of messed up Jimmy G's market a lot, because a lot of teams are like, hey, we just need a serviceable quarterback. We got good pieces everywhere else, great defense. We can serviceable quarterback to win now. Jimmy G's our guy. And then Jimmy G gets hurt, and then Derek Carr just basically gets let go of. So who knows? Who knows? It's gonna be interesting offseason for sure. But I just laughed because I knew this was coming, but at the same time, there's a lot of outrage too. Like I was watching Speak today, Emmanuel Acho, Joy Taylor, LaShawn McCoy. They were all upset for McDaniels for sending this message to the locker room, and it's like, bro, the Raiders suck. They're acknowledging that. We're not going to sit up here and act like they don't. Derek Carr leads the league in interceptions, and I know he's been through a whole lot every year he's been with the Raiders. And last year he drugged them to the playoffs, even though they weren't a playoff team then. But like, it's over. Like, give it up. I'm not mad at McDaniels for benching him. They're like, oh, he should have let him finish the season. Like, you might as well see what you have with Stidham just to know, like, okay, where do we need to go with this? And I mean, Stidham's been with McDaniels before in New England, so maybe they have some rapport. But yeah, it's time. And I'm like, they're like, oh, Devontae Adams not gonna like this. Like, no, Devontae Adams knew what he was getting himself into. He should have never left Green Bay. And then, like I told you earlier, that comment, oh, it's nothing to go from one Hall of Fame QB to another. Like, you see the difference now. He basically, he sold me in my fantasy for my work league. I lost by 6 points in the semifinals. He had 2 catches on 9 targets, and Derek Carr was selling the ball over his head. At least like 5 of them I saw. So, yeah, it's time. And now there's talks like, oh, Devontae might want to go back to Green Bay, or Devontae not going to want to play without Derek Carr. Hey, it might be time to blow it up in Las Vegas. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But then there's also talks that somehow Tom Brady might want to go there. But I can't see that because the Raiders don't have a good defense. And Tom Brady, there's one thing that you can say for sure. For him to be great and win, he needs a great defense. Because every time he wins, he got a great defense, which is, one of the Brady luck things, or, he just empowers them to be great. But, yeah, man, do you think Tom Brady realistically could go to Las Vegas? Or
I think it's a possibility. I think, like you say, either the Dolphins or probably Vegas, because I'm pretty sure what's his name, Dana White, he came out and said he pretty much had a deal, with to send Brady to Vegas, but Gruden blew it all up or whatever. So I mean, I can definitely see it. I can definitely see him staying with the Bucks, but I don't know. It's like you said, it's gonna be a crazy off season. It's gonna be a lot of moves. It's gonna be interesting to see where Brady lands. So
for sure. And wherever he goes, I'm sure, they'll have enough weapons. It'll be like, oh, here he goes again. Like, well, he did come out and say earlier this week on his podcast, I guess the next time he retires, he's done for good. But it's not going to be next year for sure. So we're stuck with at least one more year, Brady. No telling where it's going to be. But it more likely will not be Tampa Bay. So, but next game or next topic I want to talk about for week 16 is Giants Vikings. Not even the game necessarily. The Vikings, once again, one possession game. They found a way to win. I get it. It's a great trait that they're winning these close games, but I still feel like this is going to come back to bite them then. But Justin Jefferson, man, boy, I think it's safe to say, at least this year, he's the best wide receiver in the league.
Oh, for sure.
Carrying us. By the way, I forgot to mention, because I was just on my fantasy. If y'all remember, we joined a podcast fantasy league. $600 pot. Your boys are in the championship this week, man. This week. I don't know how we got here.
I don't know how either, but we
here.
We here, shit. I'm coming.
We coming. They tried to write us off, and we ain't right back. And we finished the season 7-7, squeaked into the playoffs as a 6th seed, and we've had 2 dominating playoff victories to take us this far in the championship. And knock on wood, we're actually favored right now, 53 to 47% to win this weekend. But a large part of that and just the whole comeback from this season is Justin Jefferson. Yeah. And he's on track to break 2,000 yards. And he's probably going to win Offensive Player of the Year, which I want to say, I got to go back and check, which that's going to be interesting too, to go back and look at all of our predictions. I know we were off on some, but some of them we hit on the money. I want to say we had Justin Jefferson as Offensive Player of the Year because we were big on him and we took him in fantasy. But yeah, man, now there's even talks that he deserves the argument for MVP. And I love Jay Jettas, but yeah, we got to stop that now because Cooper Kupp literally had the greatest wide receiver season ever last year, and he finished 3rd in the MVP race. So there's no way Jefferson can win it. This year, man, he got it. Like, if you had to go off this year alone, who are your top 3 wide receivers?
This year alone? Oof. Okay, definitely Jefferson. I think you would have to put CD up there.
In the top 3?
I think either that 2nd or that 3rd spot because he's been balling this year. CD been balling this year.
I was going to give him 5. I go Jay Jettas, Tyreek, and AJ Brown.
Tyreek and
AJ Brown both went to new situations and are having the best years of their career. And one was with Tua, who we didn't know about this year if he was a franchise, and Jalen, we didn't know he was a franchise. No, Jalen obviously he's had an MVP year of his own, but AJ Brown been putting up numbers, and like it kind of has to go both ways. That Jalen Hurts looks that great this year, and AJ Brown came to Philly or got traded to Philly. But yeah, I have them 2 and 3. Number 4, maybe I put CD at 4. But I'm trying to think. Devontae's still been doing his thing. It's just that he's been playing with Derek Carr. And some games it's like I forgot who said it. I forgot who said it on ESPN this morning, but they said something that made a lot of sense. They were like, Derek Carr is a robot quarterback. Like, he runs the play as supposed to run. Check here, check here, check here, check here. If there's nothing there, oh shit, what do I do? And it's like no ad-lib stuff. So that's why it's like you can't throw all these interceptions and then you don't have any crazy plays where you're like ad-libbing and, doing something that usually like just making a play out of nowhere. Because in some plays it's like, yeah, McDaniels might have called something and he might be a terrible coach and call some bad plays. But if I see that Devontae has one-on-one coverage versus whoever, I more than likely should try to get the ball to Devontae Adams. And then even when he does try that, sometimes he's just not accurate. And so I'd still have to give a nod to Devontae, but I'll go Devontae 5, CD at 4. Because CD has been balling. And he's definitely come on this last end of the year. And Cowboy looking a little dangerous.
Man, see, the thing with CD, it's like he was going off even with Cooper Rush, whatever. So he's like basically QB proof or whatever. And then on top of that, coming in this year, everyone was like, okay, CD, he gonna have to step up. He gotta be receiving one. And I mean, he's been showing this year that he can be receiving one, that he can be the number 1 receiver on a football team, man. Man, he just been playing good this year. I don't know. And the routes he's been running been crazy. So, but I can definitely. I forgot how good of a year. Well, since he's been kind of down recently with Tyreek, whatever, but he's been having a good year too. So yeah, I would probably have to put him 2, and then AJ Brown. Okay, I can see AJ Brown 3.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I just checked Miles Bridges finished with 17. I needed that. So under 17.5, I needed that for sure. But yeah, I mean, Tyreek numbers have gone down a little bit, but Tua has also been playing really bad the last month. But it probably won't happen now that Teddy Bridgewater is QB. But Tyreek technically can still get 200. I mean, not 2002 if he has 2 great games to end the year. I doubt it will happen, but he was definitely on pace for sure. But he did, I believe this past week he set his own personal record. I think 113 receptions, and he might even have finished the game with more. But yeah, he had 113. The highest he'd had with us was 112, which was last year. You know, the year where he didn't get targets. But hey, he's putting up numbers. Good for him. He balling out, but it might have cost him a playoff spot, you know, to go over to Miami. But hey, it's neither here or there. But yeah, man, CD. I mean, you know, I love CD. He used to, you know, give your Texas boys the work back in the day. That
crazy work.
That highlight from his final year where he made like 5 defenders miss off that curl route and scored. That came up on the timeline the other day. But yeah, man, CD was a dog, and that was the year with Jalen Hurts too, which is the crazy thing. And now they division rivals. But yeah, man, CD, he definitely deserved to be wide receiver 1, and I didn't necessarily doubt that he could be. I just wanted to see him do it. But yeah, he's doing it for sure. And I mean, they said, you know, I haven't heard anything since, but, you know, when Odell took that visit, Jerry Jones was saying, like, oh, no, it's a viable option come playoff time. You know, we're 2 weeks away now. So if Odell's ready and if they need him, like, that would really be scary if they do add Odell to that. But we could actually touch on that game next. Philly, Dallas, man. Gardner Minshew, he wasn't bad, but he had some costly turnovers. But it was really just great plays by the defense on those interceptions. What really hurt them was the fumbles that usually don't happen. But I mean, what I've been hearing is, and we'll have to get the Cams back on the episode and Chris to have them go at it. But what I've been hearing a lot out of the Eagles camp is like, oh, they beat us with a backup quarterback. We're not worried. And it's like, y'all also beat them when they had their backup. That was Cooper Rush's final game. And nobody said anything then. But they're like, oh, yeah, we'll be good. There's a backup QB. The offense was not the problem. Even though they had the turnovers, Dallas put 40 on that defense. And that hasn't happened all season. But they did it. And Dallas has put 40 up a couple times this season. They've been scoring a lot since Dak came back. And yeah, Jalen can come back and he can run that offense smooth and maybe less turnovers. But if it's going to be a shootout, Dallas, I think, will still have a chance. So whereas I thought Philly could handle them, if they do have to see him come playoff time, I don't know at this point. It's really a coin flip game. And depending on how Dallas looks in the wild card versus which could be Tampa Bay, could be Carolina, maybe even New Orleans, who miraculously still has a shot somehow. But if they look good, and then Philly is coming off a bye where, you know, teams can sometimes be rusty. And I think that might be Jalen Hurts' first game back now at this point, because it sounds like they might rest him the rest of his season since his AC joint in his throwing arm is messed up. They didn't lose Lane Johnson, but Lane Johnson tore an abdomen muscle. So it's not like, yeah, he can play through it come playoff time, but that's going to be a hard injury to play through. I think Gardner Johnson's still hurt. Like, the injury bug is kind of hitting Philly at the wrong time, and that could be crucial for them. And if they get a third matchup for a tiebreaker, I don't know. I might be leaning Dallas right now. Am I crazy to say that?
No, not crazy at all. Because, like you said, divisional rivals. They know what each other, you know, going to do. They know how to play each other. This game, to me personally, and honestly to like Eagles fans, this game means nothing. Like, it was a meaningless game in my opinion. Didn't have you know, quarterback boss, like you said, when the Eagles beat the Cowboys early on in the year, they had Cooper Rush, so they also had their backup. So both of them can't use those excuses. Also, like you said, I mean, it really wasn't even the offense. It was that defense. If you're gonna be one of the best defenses in the league, you can't get 40 dropped on your head, period, point blank. But so it's also you got to think about, like, if Gardner Minshew can put up 34 against the Cowboys, I'm pretty sure Jalen Hurts could probably do more, or even not, or if not even better. The Eagles' offense is kind of based around, like, running the football, and they really couldn't run the football, well, because they didn't have Jalen Hurts. So I mean, that's another thing. But I would definitely love to see this game again with both quarterbacks healthy now.
Yeah, I think the football gods have to give it to us at this point. Like,
Yeah.
everybody deserves it. And we got to know at this point, like, this is probably like the best since this is the best year for the Cowboys, period, in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the best the Eagles have had since they Super Bowl. And then, of course, the franchise kind of went to shit after that. Fired Doug Peterson, Carson Wentz gone, all that. But yeah, this is literally like prime versus prime. And we got the matchups where each had a backup quarterback in. We deserve the one with both starters. And yeah, I mean, if the Cowboys do win and they finally make it to the conference championship, like it's funny because it's like there's that monkey, like, to get off their back, like, can we finally make it to a conference championship, let alone Super Bowl for the first time since the 1990s? And then you got the Eagles, where although it's only one game, Jalen Hurts didn't have a good game at all in the playoffs last year versus Tampa Bay. So he kind of, needs to avenge that. So it's like, who can be better and not, revert back to what we usually think of him. So I don't know. I really don't know, but definitely want to see that game for sure. Like, need that game. Now, if Tampa Bay wins this weekend and secures their playoff spot, it still scares me of Dallas going up against Tom Brady. And I'm not saying like Dallas can't win the game, but it scares me because I know Dallas will go into that game scared in the back of their mind, and they'll be playing timid. And once you play timid, that's when mistakes happen. And let some mistakes happen, and that's all you need is one mistake at the wrong point to give Tom Brady the momentum. You've seen it this week. Arizona should have won that game with ease. Up 10 with 7 minutes left. Mistakes. Don't run the clock down. Next thing you know, Tom Brady wins the game in overtime. It's like, even though they were down 10, you were texting me like, you just know, like, something's going to happen for Tom Brady to get this comeback. And of course, that's how it goes down. And it's going to be a home game for them too at that. So it's like, you're going to have to go on the road and beat Tom Brady on the road in a playoff game. That's been done very few times throughout his career. But they have the team to do it, and they should do it. Will they do it? I don't know. But if they get through them, I kind of like their chances versus Philly now. And you even saw a glimpse of T.Y. Hilton, 3rd and 30 completion to him. Beautiful ball by Dak. And I got to give my props to Dak too, because Dak ended the Jacksonville game on the pick six. Essentially started this game with the pick six. But he bounced back and played really well for the rest of the time. So I got to give that to him. And even though you, of course, would love to see him play mistake-free football, he's still putting up great numbers with the offense. It's not like how I said earlier, Derek Carr throwing a bunch of interceptions, but the Raiders are only averaging like 21 points. So it's not balancing out. Dak might be turning the ball over every game, but the Cowboys are averaging 30 or so points since he's came back. So they're still putting up points and winning games. So definitely something to look forward to. Hopefully we get it. I think we will, but who knows? Who knows? I think essentially that's really all to talk about from week 16. It wasn't too much. Going into week 17, what the playoff standings look like right now. Buffalo first, still in the AFC. They get Cincinnati this week. That's going to be a big game because Cincinnati can win, and if the Chiefs technically lose, they are not technically. If the Chiefs lose one, then Cincinnati will have the first seed in the AFC. But if they beat Buffalo, that will put Cincinnati in the second seed over Buffalo and give them the home field advantage. Because then they'll probably, if the Chiefs win out and get first, the Buffalo Bills and Cincinnati Bengals will probably end up playing in the divisional round again if they, considering they win both their playoff games. So definitely a lot on the line. That's the Monday night game. That should be a really great game. Jacksonville, like I said, moved into the first place of the AFC South, and Tennessee even helped solidify that more by losing to your Texans. Derrick Henry did cash out again for us, though. I hope y'all listen. He didn't go for 200, but his prop was like 110. He ran for 150. So or I think it was like 120 or something. But we told y'all, Derrick Henry versus Texans, bet his rush prop every time. Can't wait to do it again next year. If there's any two locks we can put in for the future, is those right there. But yeah, Malik Willis, I mean, he still doesn't necessarily look good, but at the same time, I don't want to blame him because he's a rookie quarterback, and Tennessee just sucks. They have no weaponry at all on that offensive side of the ball, especially in the receiver room. So if you don't have nobody to throw the ball to, and they were on this losing streak before Willis got the starting spot this week because Tannehill went down. They were losing with Tannehill too. So Tennessee fans, Ashton, I know Ashton the Tannehill guy because I've seen him retweet some stuff about Tannehill. I mean, you might want to just leave Willis in, just get him reps to get him going for the next season. Because at this point, you can't possibly bring Tannehill back thinking oh, this will be the year we can figure something out and what's the rule. You might as well go move forward with your draft pick and focus on putting weapons around him for next year. But Tennessee fell out the playoff picture completely. Baltimore clinched their playoff spot. Chargers clinched theirs, and now Miami sits in the 7th seed. But they got the Patriots this weekend, who are right behind them. And, of course, like we said earlier, no Tua. NFC, Philly still in the first spot. They can secure that with a win this weekend. Jalen, again, will not be playing. Lane Johnson will not be playing. Those two are both probably out for the rest of the regular season. Philly's record is not good at all without Lane Johnson, so something to keep your eye on. They should be able to sew up the division, but these last 2 games, if they don't have Jalen, they don't have one of their best guards, best guard in the league, probably. They could drop these 2, and then Dallas could out of nowhere be, well, it wouldn't even be Dallas. It would be Minnesota. Minnesota doesn't lose anymore. Yeah. So a lot is still, it's weird for to be this late in the season, and the top seeds aren't even solidified with certainty yet. But that's where we are. San Francisco 3rd, or Minnesota 2nd, San Francisco 3rd. Those can flip flop. Tampa Bay 4th. They got the matchup with Carolina this week.
Mm-hmm.
They're 3-point favorites. I don't know. I'm staying away from it, like I said, but I wouldn't be surprised if Carolina pulls that one off the way the Bucks have looked. New York and Dallas, or Dallas, New York 5 and 6, Washington at 7, who are now making the move back from Heineke back to Carson Wentz, because apparently Carson Wentz gives them the best chance to win now. If you say so, Rivera. It's crazy because we just got my dad a Taylor Heineke jersey, and then he gets booted from the starting spot. But yeah, man, Seattle. I mean, Geno, yeah, they wrote him off and he didn't write back, but he kind of looks like Geno again. My Chiefs shut him down, and we haven't been able to shut anybody down lately. They lose again, so their playoff hopes look pretty bleak. But yeah, that's what the playoff picture looks like heading into week 17. Second to last week of football, man. And with that being said, let's get into these picks. I'll start off. And this isn't even a pick necessarily that y'all could tell anymore, but I watched that Saturday night game with the Raiders versus the Steelers. Pissed off because I lost my fantasy matchup because I knew, how Derek Carr basically sold me with Devontae Adams. My fantasy matchup wasn't lost at that point. I still have Mike Williams going in to the Monday night game, but I would have needed him to get 20 points for me to win, and he didn't do that. But because I was pissed off, I purposely was like, I'm going to fade the Raiders this week because they got San Francisco. And the lines opened up at -6. So I bet it at -6 right there on the spot, Sunday night, I believe. And then with news of Derek Carr being benched for the rest of the season today, the line has now moved to -10. Now, the 49ers could still easily cover that. But -6, I really like it a lot. So that's my first pick. But it's really not a pick no more. But luckily, I had the foresight to pick that early. So I got a great line on that. So that's my first pick, 49 -6 for -110 odds.
All right. I like it. I actually love it a lot. I got 2 picks for this week. Let you know my first one. My first one, man. I'm taking my boys, man. I'm taking my boys.
I was gonna ask you about that one. I was like, do you think you taking them against the spread or straight up?
Spread plus 4.5, but I do think we can upset them because we absolutely own the Jacksonville Jaguars. I believe we won like a couple of straight against them now. I know we beat them, I think, twice in a row last year. But yeah, we absolutely own the Jaguars. It's crazy because it's like, even when we're bad, we still own this division. So we still own this division. We just let them know.
I think if y'all win, won't y'all technically have a winning record in the division?
Probably so.
I'm pretty sure because I think that was one of Lovie Smith's, like, I guess, like, pep talks or like motivation to end the season strong. Like, hey, like, yeah, we can't win the playoffs, but we can end the year with a winning record in the division. And
because we did tie, I forgot, we did tie with the Colts.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm taking Texas 4.5. We surprisingly playing pretty fucking good football right now. It's crazy to like even think about that we got a couple of guys that are out for this season, but we're playing spoiler alert. I think we cover the spread plus 4.5.
Okay.
Take that.
I like that. I was gonna say because I mean Jacksonville has been surging, but y'all been playing pretty well too. And 4.5, I think that could be a cover for y'all. So I like it. I like it. I was gonna ask you about that one. Of course, that's your first pick, so I'm not mad at that one at all. For me, I don't really like too many of the lines for any of the other games, but this team is historically like been great against the spread this year, something like crazy. So I'm gonna go with them, and I need them to win for my Chiefs, man. I'm gonna go Bengals. It's +1, so I mean they could cover the +1, but I'm just pick them straight up. Fuck it, like I need them to win this game so my Chiefs can get that first seed sold up. But yeah, man, I think Joe Burrow and the boys put it on the Bills because the Bills still don't look that great, and I think they'll have problems guarding, that Cincinnati offense. And if the Bengals win, that will mean they beat all the top teams in the AFC. Literally, they will literally have beat everybody in the playoffs as of right now this year, which is crazy to think about. But then at the same time, they'll have to probably see the Bills again in the playoffs if they win and my Chiefs win out. I think the Bills will get them. I would love to see Cincinnati again just to get that monkey off our back, but if they beat the Bills this week, I don't know if we'll get the chance. But yeah, man, I got Cincinnati straight up versus the Bills Monday night prime time game of the year. Honestly, there's a lot on the line, so that's what I'm rolling with.
Oh man, I actually love that a lot. I was actually thinking about doing the same thing, Bengals too, but I'm gonna stay away from them. But my second and last pick, you said you staying away with it, but I'm going with them. I got the Carolina Panthers, man, +3. I got if you would take the ML, I got the ML too. Take it. I think they flat out win this game. Man, that in term, Steve Wilkes, he got them boys playing good balling, man. Got them playing good football, and it's kind of crazy. They
it's your boy, ain't it? That's been running really well, Foreman.
Yeah, Foreman. Yeah. He been going crazy.
Tech City boy.
Yeah, Tech City. But nah, when Carolina fired their that coach, whatever, they kind of gave Steve Wilkes, the underhand.
Yeah, they trying to basically throw him into the worst possible situation ever, and look at him turning something out of nothing.
Exactly. So
he probably won't get the head coaching job after all of this.
He probably won't. So that's what I'm saying. Like he's pretty much fighting for like a head coaching job in the NFL, showing all these future NFL possibilities or whatever that he can coach in this league, and he's a damn good football coach. Because like I said, Panthers trade away CMC, trade away some more guys, and trade away Roby Anderson and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, look at what he had to deal with, and he still got these guys in a good situation to win a division. So I love chaos. If they win, it'll be a lot of chaos because that means if the Saints beat Philly, everybody's 7-9. So so that would be a crazy situation. I don't know what would happen. I don't know. We'll just have to see because that week 18 would definitely mean a lot for the Bucks and the Saints and Carolina, whoever else is playing. So yeah, I like it. I love that. I love the chances, man. They, like I said, they playing good football. Sam Darnold playing good football. Surprisingly, he's playing good football. Foreman, Tech City, he run that rock. So
yeah, man.
Should be a good one.
I'm with you. I bet Carolina +3. I'll sprinkle on it a little half unit just to see if they can pull that upset. But I mean, I think if they win, I think maybe. Well, no, that will give because they beat Tampa Bay the first time. So I think if they win, this honestly like Tampa Bay is out of the playoffs for good because they. Well, let me double check that. So no, yeah. So technically, they have to win out because they can beat Tampa Bay and they'll both have 9 losses and they'll have a tiebreaker over them. But if they lose and Tampa Bay wins and they finish with 10 losses, Tampa Bay will still get it. Watch Carolina win this week, then lose next week to the Saints because the Saints will mess around somehow. If they can beat the Eagles this week, like you said, they'll still be alive. And watch them lose, Tampa Bay win and get into the playoff, bro. You know it, the most Tom Brady way possible.
Tom Brady way.
I'll be so pissed, bro. I'll be so pissed.
Oh, that pissed me off so much. I hope that don't happen. I really don't, man. It's time for dude to just go away, man.
Go away, please.
Please.
Yeah, man. Who knows? This is my last pick, and I kind of like it, especially with the news that Mike White is back. I'm gonna go Jets -1.5 versus Seahawks. The Seahawks, I mean, they still have a chance, but their team kind of just looks bad right now. Damn, Giannis just dunked on like 3 people, but I don't think it. Oh, I won't bet it just yet. I need to find out if Tyler Lockett is coming back because he sat out this week because he just had surgery on his hand, and so they might be trying to rush him back, and he might be playing this week. But if they don't have Tyler Lockett, I'm gonna bet it for sure. Because without Tyler Lockett, they really don't have anybody to throw to besides Metcalf. And Geno was really struggling this week versus my Chiefs. And playing up against that Jets defense, it's gonna be real tough. The only thing that's going for him is it is a home game, so that kind of scares me a bit. But -1.5 for a Jets team fighting for their lives and a great defense, and Zach LaVine just shot a 3, but he missed. Thank God.
What quarter is it?
6 minutes left in the fourth.
Ooh.
I just need him to miss still, and Anthony Edwards, I think, needs one more bucket. He's at 23, and they just went to the fourth in that game. Woo, Lord. For y'all wondering, I'm going to just, so I can give y'all the rundown. I got a prize picks parlay going right now that could hit for $500 off a $20 play. I got, where was it? So I started off with Jalen Daniels, Kansas quarterback, throwing over 200 yards in the bowl game. He threw for 474. So that was easy. DeMar DeRozan first half, over 17.5 PRA. He got 19. Nikola Vucevic, less than 7.5 points first half. Got it. Anthony Edwards, over 24.5 points. He's at 23 right now. That game is just started in the fourth quarter. Zach LaVine, less than 2.5 3-pointers made. He literally opened the game with 2 threes made. So I was thinking like, oh, this bet is definitely screwed. But right now, knock on wood, it's still alive because he hasn't hit again. And then Giannis over 31.5. Giannis might have 40 right now. Last time I checked, he was at 35, but I didn't see him score a couple more times just sitting here. But yeah, he's at 39 right now. He got 39 and 19. So yeah, Anthony Edwards, one more bucket, please. And Zach LaVine, he can shoot all the 2-pointers you want. Just no threes. No threes, please. And I'll hit for 500. Maybe. Hopefully. I need it. I need it. Come on, man. Come on, man. But yeah, man. Jets for my last pick. I'll probably look for a player prop. Just throw it in. I'm gonna just do one. But yeah. I'm really just kind of playing this rest of this regular season easy, saving up, playoff time in there like swimwear. And then also I head to Vegas in 2 weeks. So and Derek Carr won't be there anymore. And hopefully my Chiefs still gonna have to play, especially if Cincinnati wins this weekend, my Chiefs gonna have to play for sure. So that's why it all goes together. I need Cincy to handle business week and go see my Chiefs, and I'm gonna be betting big that week in Vegas. So stay tuned for that for sure. But yeah, man, that's all my picks for this week. We're looking good. We're gonna finish off the regular season positive, if nothing else. For the NFL, gonna finish off the year positive. So I mean, we just started this up back in August for the start of NFL season. Started the podcast, started our betting on the page, and I mean, we up positive units. I got the stats on my phone. With the Chargers cashed out for us Monday night, -4.5. That line had moved all the way down to -3, but -4.5 still covered. But as far as NFL goes, I'm 68 and 61-2 plus 18 units. Cam, you're 35 and 27-3 plus 20 units. So we've been doing our thing in the NFL. Hope y'all been telling along. Like I said, this is our first year really doing this shit for real. So we only going up from here. And the max plays were 7 and 4 in a year plus 13.75 units. So yeah, man, we've been doing our thing for the NFL season. Can't wait to head into 2023, get a clean slate, and try to do it all again next year. Gonna be betting the NBA more heavy when once the NFL season over with. College basketball picks up a lot. Gonna be betting that. Let's see. I don't know if you're betting on the college football playoff this weekend, but I know for sure I'll bet the championship game, if nothing else. And then yeah, probably bet some MLB too, even though that stuff would be a wild ride in itself in the regular season.
It's like impossible with that.
Impossible. That in the NBA will piss you off, man.
Yeah.
But do you have any other picks or?
Nah, no other picks, but I will be starting up college basketball pretty soon with some of my bets. So if anybody listening, look out for that. Look out for that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Look, right before we started this podcast episode, I just cashed out on a college basketball bet. I had UConn, Georgia, Auburn, and who else? I keep forgetting who was a fourth. Said UConn, Georgia, Auburn. Oh, Tennessee, all in MLP, and Auburn was the last team on the slate, and they pulled out a close game versus Florida, won by 3 right at the end. Luckily, because they were up 1 with 20 seconds left, and they weren't gonna be able to use up all the game clock, but they could have scored. Dude threw the ball right to Florida's defender. They called timeout to draw up a play. And I'm like, oh shoot! Like if they draw something good here and score, this might be messed up. But they turned the ball over. Florida ran away. Dude should have dribbled the clock out, but he shot a layup, makes it. Yeah. And then they missed the full court heave to tie the game into overtime. So that one cashed. That was a 2.5 unit play by me. Cashed out for this like 3.15 units. It was a plus 150 bet. So yeah, man, definitely needed that for sure. But yeah, man, this wraps up another episode. Just to recap, our picks for Week 17 NFL. Ad came up, but I got the 49ers -6. The line is no longer -6. So if you want to take them at -10, be my guest. But I will not be. I'll be sticking with my -6. But I mean, I can see 49ers blowing them out. They should with the way that defense is playing. I doubt Jarrett Stidham comes in and tears them up. That'll be crazy thing, especially with 49ers still having something to play for. But I got that. I'm gonna roll with Cam. We're both gonna roll with Carolina +3. honestly, might take it. I'm gonna bump it up. You want to bump it up to plus 3.5 to be on the safe side, in case the Bucks win off a field goal. So yeah, Carolina plus 3.5, and then depending on Tyler Lockett injury report, even if he plays, I might still take it. But just -1.5, I'll probably just take them ML to win the game. So those are my three picks for week 17. Cam, you want to give them yours, and then we can sign off.
So I got the Texans plus 4.5, taking my boys this week. Like I said, man, we usually own the Jags. We still own this division, even when we're bad. So I think we'll be a little upset there, or at least we'll cover that. And then like you said, Carolina plus 3.5 now. So yeah, man, those are my 2 picks.
Yes, sir. A lot of marquee games this week. Vikings, Packers, a lot on the line there. Like we said, the Packers gotta win out. Bills, Bengals, Monday night, like we said. Panthers, Bucks for that division. Saints, Eagles. Saints still technically alive since the NFC South is trash, but the Eagles can solidify first place. Dolphins, Patriots. Patriots can take that 7th seed spot. It's looking prime for them, especially with 2 out, but they still been finding miraculous ways to lose. 2 weeks ago it was that stupid lateral as they were calling it. And then this week they get the ball back off of Jamar Chase fumble, and they honestly might win the game. And Ramondre Stevens fumbles on not the goal line, but in the red zone. So yeah, man. Definitely some key games to look at for sure. But that, like I said, that's our week 16 recap, week 17 picks. You heard it here first. I Need It Sports Podcast. We'll see you guys again next week. And hopefully next week we'll get back to having some NBA episodes. Chris been busy, he just graduated college, so we letting him kind of settle out. And then also gonna try to get Dwayne on here to talk basketball. He was over at the crib before this, so I was chopping it up with him. Definitely want to get some of his opinions on here. And then hopefully we'll try to get all the Cams back and Chris for an NFL episode right before the playoffs. So a lot in store. Gonna finish out the year strong, man. At least get y'all, I guess, maybe. Well, no, this is the last episode for the year. So
yeah,
2022 is a wrap, man. We've been going strong since August, 6 months. I think this is like our 36th episode. So crazy, 6 months. Bro. 36 episodes, man. The views have been going up on YouTube. I mean, we love all of our loyal supporters who, you might not watch every video, but I mean, if you watch it long enough to give us a view, if you like the video, love y'all to death, man. This is who we do it for. Just 2, guys chopping it up. Stuff we talk about in the group chat. Started off as a dream a couple years ago, became a reality in August of this year, and headed into 2023 strong, man. I'm proud of us. I Need a Sports Podcast. You already know what it is. Your kids from the neighborhood signing off. Like I said, we'll see y'all next time, man.
I need it.